could you start by giving like a brief introduction of who you are?
Right, well, my name's Damian Dunn and I work for the County Durham and Darlington NHS Foundation Trust, but I work in the Health Improvement service, and Health Improvement is really about trying to keep people healthy. And my particular work is in the children and young people's team. So what I work with is people who work directly with children from 0 to 19 and sometimes directly with children themselves or young people themselves.
Okay, so how does your role then interlink with the young people?
Well, on the whole, we tend to work in specific sort of settings where young people are. So, for example, I've been doing a lot of work recently in primary and secondary schools, and a lot of my work in primary and secondary schools has been around self-esteem and improving the self-esteem of young people, because good self-esteem is the absolute cornerstone of good mental health for people. But we sometimes work in sixth form colleges, and we also work in youth clubs as well.
So what do you think are the main health issues then for young people within mental health?
For me, the main issue for young people is stress and how they cope with stress. Obviously, when people talk about mental health, what they're very often thinking about is mental illness, and they're thinking about people who are really quite seriously disturbed and have really serious conditions like manic depressive illness or schizophrenia or things like that. But what is much more common is for young people just to be suffering stress because of the circumstances they find themselves in, possibly their family circumstances and the pressures that are placed on them in terms of achievement, particularly at school. And also I would argue as well issues around body image and how people perceive them. I think that's very important.
So what services do you provide then for these young people that have the issues?
Well, my team works more or less with other institutions or settings that work directly with young people. So it's very difficult for young people to access us directly. What happens is we tend to come into contact with young people through teachers in school or through youth workers, etc., and they invite us in to talk to young people on specific subjects.
So would a young person then have to access the service probably through a member of staff, or how could they do it themselves if they feel themselves that they might have an issue? Yeah,
it would be very difficult for young people to access us directly. As I say, what they would have to do would be involved in a programme that we were already running in a particular setting, in a school or a sixth form college or a youth centre, for example. Having said that, in the course of working with young people, particularly around self-esteem issues, we often have young people who approach us as individuals after a session and ask us particular questions, or they're concerned about things and they want to discuss them.
So what advice would you give to a young person who might be in this situation where they might need a service?
Well, we always say, and once again I'm thinking specifically about mental health here and or emotional health to use a better expression, we talk about the 5 a day for mental health. And this is not consuming 5 items of fruit a day. This is something completely different. And the 5 different aspects of mental health are to be able to connect, and what that means, to be able to connect with the people around you, to be involved in relationships that are positive, for example, by joining a club or talking to someone instead of sending an email or speaking to somebody new. So that's very important. Also being active. Keeping yourself physically active is a really important component of maintaining your mental health. To take notice and be curious of the world around you as well is very important. So, for example, you might want to practice something like meditation or take an interest in the natural world and just notice all of the wonderful things that there are in the world. That's very important. Also, keep learning. Always set yourself challenges and try and learn new things and new skills. And if you do that, once again, that's a very positive thing to do. And to give to other people. It's very, very important for individuals and for human beings to feel as if they're making a contribution and helping other people. Because by helping other people, very often, you actually do yourself a lot of good as well. So those would be my 5 a day, if you like, for making yourself mentally healthy.
Okay, that's everything then, so thank you.
Thank you very much.